Hello everyone, it's Leo and I have decided to show my manga collection today in this video. I have done this before, but I have done a video only showing my collection of magical girl manga. And I thought, why not expand this a little bit more and show off the whole collection I have. Honestly, I have been collecting manga for more than 15 years, I think, because I've been a fan of anime since I was very young, since I was a child and watched Pokemon on TV. But when I became a teenager, manga started being released here in Brazil when I was like 13, 14. And so every time I had a little money, I went to the bookstores and bought some manga. And at that time, they were very cheap. So I remember I started my Cardcaptor Sakura collection, my Chobits collection, so like lots of mangas I have nowadays are ones bought back in the day, because like I have returned buying manga now, but I've spent a long time without buying anything. So let's start, and I'll start by showing things I have bought recently, and those two are ones that are like very recent manga, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba. And after seeing the anime, I have become a very big fan of this story. I love Demon Slayer, I really do. And the covers are very beautiful. They have this like sleeve here in Brazil. Like I love it. It's so nice. And I really became a fan of this. I watched the anime. I am reading the manga as it comes out in Japan. And obviously I said I need to support this somehow. And I got the mangas. Like those are the 2 volumes that were released here. And I'm obviously gonna keep buying more. This one, I don't know if I can show this cover, so I'm showing it like this. I'm showing it like this. This is a manga called My Lesbian Experience with Solitude or Loneliness. I don't know how it's translated in English. This is the Brazilian name. And this manga is really something else. Here, like it's all colored in pink inside, as you can see here. And I love LGBT issues. I love LGBT themes. And this manga was written by a lesbian woman. So like it's her experience. It's all very autobiographic. It talks about so many things and about like internalized hate, when you hate yourself, and like many things about society and your place in society, your freedom, your liberty, how you feel when you feel wasted, when you don't find your own place. It's very, very nice. If you have the opportunity, you should read it. But I just have to say, this is 18 plus, so only read it if you're over 18 years old, please. This one is another manga that's on the LGBT spectrum, and this is My Husband's Brother. I don't know how it's called in English again, but this one was done by Gengoro Tagame. And if you've read Bada manga on the internet, you probably know who he is. And he's a very popular Bada artist. If you're not over 18, please don't search the name of this author on the internet. But this is not an over 18 manga. It's like, I think everyone could read it. And it's very, very nice. The Brazilian versions came with those markers, page markers. And this is also another story that's very, very beautiful, very, very touching. And honestly, after I read this, it became one of my favorite mangas in the world, because this is really powerful. Just 2 volumes, a very short story, but very beautiful, very touching. And it can teach a lot about LGBT and gay issues, gay rights. It can teach you a lot, especially if you're straight and you don't know much. This story follows like 2 different points of views, and one of them is from a straight man from Japan. Like he is Japanese. So I really like reading stories written by LGBT people in Japan. You learn a lot with them. Oops. You learn a lot with them. And I just love it. Okay, so let's go to my clamp collection now. I don't have much, but I have some nice clamp stories. The first one is this. It's X. I don't know if you guys know this story, but if you don't, if you're younger, you probably don't. But if you are a little older like me, you probably know this. This is X, and this is also one of my favorite mangas in the world. And it's nice because when you get all the volumes together, you find they get this image here, completed image. I love this. And X is a very powerful story. It was done right when the century was changing. It was like 99 to 2000s. So like there was this big, we don't know what's gonna go on, we don't know what's gonna happen, and Clamp played a lot on this in this story. This is very beautiful. The Clamp art is always, Hinato is one of my faves, so I'm gonna show her cover. Hinato, I love her, and obviously Clamp's arts are amazing. And not only that, it features like a very big cast of characters. Canon is also one of my favorites, so let me show her cover. I love her. Honestly, the cast of characters from X is very nice. Unfortunately, this is one of the works from Clamp that hasn't been finished yet, and I really don't know if they're gonna finish it one day. I really believe I really wish they would, because this is very, very good. There is the manga, there's an anime, and there's also a movie, there's an OVA. There are lots of things from X that you can watch. The anime and the movie, they kind of have like an ending, but we don't have an ending from the manga, so I don't really know how they're gonna close this story, because this is like a bomb for them to close. I have no idea how they're gonna finish that. Another manga from Clamp I have is Tokyo Babylon. Those are the 7 volumes of Tokyo Babylon that were released here. I love how they work with the colors in this volume. And Tokyo Babylon is like a pre-story from X. The characters from Tokyo Babylon appear here. It's a very dramatic manga with some dramatic twists, but it's very good. And you know, like, you can really understand the love that Clamp has for fashion in those covers. Like, they're really, really amazing. I love them. And well, this is a finished story in a way. It continues in X, but well, X doesn't have an ending, but you can see the characters from Tokyo Babylon in X. It's also very, very good. Another one I have that I have already shown is Magic Knight Hey Earth. Magic Knight Hey Earth is a magical girl story from Clamp. And here in Brazil, we had 2 different versions of this manga. We had this one that I have, that each volume from Japan was divided into 2 volumes here in Brazil. And, you know, we have like all of the volumes. So we have like 12 volumes. And then we got the original version released here in only 6 volumes. But as I already had this one, I didn't want to buy it again. And I just have to show the cover of my favorite character, which is Fu. I absolutely love her. She is my favorite, and she's green. She is green. She is awesome. I love Fu. Hey Earth is a very good story in the manga, even though I like the anime a little better. I think the anime worked with all of the characters a little more. They had more time to develop them, especially the second part. The second part in the anime is way better. Another manga I have that happened the same that happened with Hey Earth is Chobits. Chobits also receives the same treatment. 1 volume in Japan became 2 volumes here in Brazil, and I have this first edition. More recently, they have re-released it in the regular way, and they have like all of the volumes. And this, like at the time, I really loved Chobits. Nowadays, I'm not gonna say it's a bad story. It's not by any means. It's just not my absolute fave as it was back in the day. You know, I love it. I still love it, but it's just not amongst my faves anymore. And the last one that I have from Clamp is Angelic Layer. Angelic Layer is kind of like a Pokemon thing, and I really like Angelic Layer, even though the ending is not for me. And you know, the manga is very fun. It's a very fun story to read, and the designs of the dolls are all very, very nice. And I think that it was when Clamp was starting to do shonen manga. This is a shonen manga, so I believe that it was when they started, you know, migrating to new different styles. Clamp is very versatile. They do amazing works, and I absolutely love Clamp, as you can see. So I still have to get Cardcaptor Sakura. I had the first version that was released here, but as I was very young when it was released, like some volumes were missing and I could never find it. Like, I remember that the first volume that is like very, very thin like this was sold by like 300 reais here in Brazil, which is like crazy. And they have also re-released Sakura, and I haven't gotten it, so I really need to get it. I need to finish Kobato as well. I have 2 volumes that I want from a very special friend of mine, but I have never finished buying it. Okay, so let's jump right into some other stories. Let's start with this one. This is Gallism. This artist is called Mayumi Yokoyama, and there were tons of mangas that were released here in Brazil. She's a shoujo artist, and one of the things I love about her stories is that she writes stories about kogals. If you don't know what kogals are, you just search for it, but it was a trend in Japan. Girls, like very fashionable girls who used to tan a lot, and like all of her stories are more or less around that. And this one is very good. It's 6 volumes. I think it's the longest story that was released here, but my favorite one is this one right here, Bijin Zaka. Bijin Zaka is a story about this girl. She also has kind of like this kogal style, and we get to see her story in the school, her love story, her story with her friends. This is my absolute fave. I love this. Another story from hers I have is Bijojuku. This one was also released here in Brazil, and it's just those funny and kind of sexy stories as well. They're kind of raunchy, and this one, honestly, it's been a while. I don't even remember the story, but I do remember that I don't like it. It was really, really cringy, so I don't recommend it, even though I should reread it because I don't remember the story, but I remember that at the time I read it, just no. Look at what I found. I found this witch manga version here. I didn't even know I had it. I didn't even remember, Witch in manga version. You probably know Witch, that magical girl story from Disney. And it's a very nice story, by the way. Is it from Disney or no? Now I'm confused. Okay, now let's go to another one that is done by Ashihara Hinako, and it's Tsunadoke. I have no idea if you guys know this story. It's a shoujo manga. It is a very, very powerful story. It's really beautiful, and if you haven't read it, like if you want a story to cry, to get emotional with, this is the story for you. It's a story I like because it's emotional, but it's not those like crying-inducing stories that do everything to make you cry. You just cry naturally because it's very good. And this is a beautiful story. I should reread it because it's been a long time. I don't really remember the details, but it's amazing. Now, if you want another story to cry, you can watch Fruits Basket, and oops, I have the manga here with me as well. Those are the 23 volumes. 23 volumes of Fruits Basket. The new version is being released here in Brazil, but since I have the old one, I'm not gonna rebuy it. This is the first version of Fruits Basket that was released. I remember I was like 18 years old when it was released here, so it's been a long time. And I really don't understand those covers because the artist, Natsuki Takaya, she's amazing in drawings, but the covers she does, there's a newer version, as I said, and the covers are prettier, but ultimately the covers I have and those colors they chose for the covers, like, girl, what were they thinking? And ultimately Fruits Basket is very good. The new anime is coming out, so you can follow the story more like regularly and get emotional with it, but the manga is a must have if you like mangas. Let's go for Madoka Magica. So I have here Madoka Magica. I have the 3 volumes of the regular story. This is the anime story in the manga version. I have the novel. This is the novel from the anime as well. They milk this anime a lot. So this is the same story of the anime in book format. It's simply a book, basically. And I also have Suzune Magica. Suzune Magica is my favorite Madoka Magica spin-off because there are lots of that are coming out, and this is basically my favorite in the manga form because I like Magia Record a lot. I also have Madoka Magica, the movie Rebellion, which is the story of the Rebellion movie, which is awesome, by the way. The manga is not bad, but it's not as good as the movie. And this is a very nice. I love the art that they do in the back cover of the manga. I love it. It's very, very artsy, very, very different. I adore it. I really adore it. I also have Oriko Magica, which is honestly a disaster. Oriko Magica is in 2 volumes. And you know, I like the style. The art style is very 2000s or 90s. Like it's very old. Like, it's dated in a way, but I like it. And I also have this one, Oriko Magica, Another Story, which is kind of like a retelling of Oriko Magica in another way. And I also have this one, which is also another complete disaster, Kazumi Magica. This one is in 5 volumes. I think it's the longest Puella Magi manga. And this is really bad. This is such a confusing story, and the art is beautiful. But at the same time, you don't really understand it. There are some scenes that you don't really understand what's going on. Also, the art is very pervy, you know, and when you consider the kids are like 10, they look like 10-year-olds. No. Now let's go to Keiko Suenobu. She has a manga that was released here in Brazil called Limit, and I have the 6 volumes of it. There are 6 volumes, and this manga is very, very nice. The covers were awesome with the main characters in it. This is the best character ever. I love those covers. This is kind of like a survival story, and this is really amazing. Really, really amazing. I love this story, and there are lots of themes in it, like survival, bullying, and you know, learning how to open up to people. It's a very, very nice story. I really like it. And you know, Keiko Suenobu is famous for her life manga that became dorama. And it's a very beautiful, it became a movie and also a dorama. I loved it. It was never published here in Brazil, unfortunately, but her best work for me is this one, Vitamin. This is a story about survival. This is a story about bullying. This is a story about, you know, learning how to deal with pain that gets inflicted on you. And it's really, really beautiful. Unfortunately, this is a story that's also 18 plus. I don't know if you can see this. It's 18 plus, so if you're not over 18, please don't read it. But this is also a story that's kind of heavy in some points, like self-harm, and the bullying scenes are also very unsettling, but it's awesome. If you can go through this, I'm pretty sure you're gonna love this because it really deserves a read. This is another manga I have, and it's called Princess Ai. This is one of the first mangas I bought, and this is from when the manga boom was starting here in Brazil, you know. And this is a story about this girl, and she has like a rockish soul, and she just becomes a rock star. And this is based on Courtney Love. The character was based on Courtney Love. Courtney Love even participated in the production of this manga. I find this very cool. Let's go to those ones. This is Utena. Shoujo Kakume Utena, one of my favorite works of art. I love the anime more than the manga, honestly, but the manga is also very good. The manga is another case of, you know, having 2 volumes here, condensing 1 Japanese volume. And so we have 10 volumes of the Utena manga and 2 volumes of the manga that told the story of the movie, which is kind of a different story, a different way of telling the Utena story, which is also very nice. The manga is very mysterious and very pretty. This drawing right here, if you are a Sailor Moon fan, you're probably gonna know what this is about. Sailor Moon Crystal Season 3, do you remember this? Well, the director of Sailor Moon Crystal Season 3 is an apprentice of Ikuhara, the one who directed Utena, the anime, and also he worked on the manga as well. So, like, there are lots of Utena references in that because of this. Also, another magical girl manga, Tokyo Mew Mew. This is adorable. I love my Tokyo Mew Mew collection. It's not complete, I think. I think I'm lacking 1 volume. I'm not sure right now. I'm not sure. But this is Tokyo Mew Mew. It's adorable. I love it. It's coming back. I'm very thankful. Let's give a shout out to Mew Lettuce. Oops. Mew Lettuce, who's my fave. Who's my absolute fave. But I also love Sakura. Where is she? This is a good manga. It's a good manga. And in Brazil, we only had Tokyo Mew Mew. We didn't have Tokyo Mew Mew a la mode. Probably wasn't very successful here, unfortunately. Okay, let's go to some yaoi stories now. First, we have Princess. which was probably my first experience with queer baiting. Honestly, this was sold as a yaoi manga, but when you read it, there's no yaoi here, just guys cross-dressing. You know, they just cross-dress to become maids and to work. And that's it. And that's basically it. You know, they become like very beautiful maids. They have like this feminine appearance, but they're straight. So queer baiting as its max. That's probably was my first contact with it. And we also have Gravitation. Gravitation is probably like from my time, it was probably the first experience of a lot of people with yaoi, and like I think that most people really have like a good nostalgia with it because it's so bad. It's so bad. And you know, I do have the complete collection, and honestly, I also have my good memories with it. But at the end of the day, I still don't know how it didn't get a revival, because like there are so many things getting revivals lately, and Gravitation is a thing that like it has a lot of power in nostalgia. It's just not good. It's just not good. Talking about yaoi, I also have this Blood Honey, and I don't remember one single thing about it. I have no idea what this is about. I just remember there are like vampires, and that's it. I have no idea who those characters are and what happens in this. Like, this is something I completely disregarded in my mind, because like I have no idea. I just know it's like a boys' love story, but it just had no impact in me whatsoever. Talking about vampires, I also started a Vampire Knight collection from Matsuri Hino, and okay, I liked Vampire Knight when it started. Then like after that twist we had in the story, it just became really bad. So I have like the first 7 volumes of it, and you know, her art is awesome. Her art is beautiful, 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 but just no, I couldn't do it. I also have this manga from her, Wanted. It's a 1-volume story only, and it's a cute story about pirates and the girl who invades a pirate ship or something. And it's a nice story. It's a cute one. And my absolute fave of hers is Meruburi, which is a shoujo manga, just like the others, but it's like a very cute love story. I love the colors of this. It's a very beautiful story of a girl who ends up in love with a prince from another world, a very spoiled prince of another world, and he becomes kind of like a child, and she has to help him in our world. I don't really remember the story, but I liked it a lot at the time. I remember this was probably my first contact with this kind of shoujo stories, you know, those love shoujo stories in manga format here in Brazil. Talking about love stories, Socrates in Love is one of those mangas that's supposed to make you cry very hard. It's 1 volume only. It's a beautiful story, but it's the type of story you see in movies from like Nicholas Sparks. That's it. Now let's go to Sailor Moon. Obviously, I have already shown my Sailor Moon collection, so I'm gonna go through it very fast. We have this version, we have this version of Sailor Moon here in Brazil. Now we're gonna have the Eternal versions being released. We just don't know when. It was just announced last year, I think it was last year, or at the start of this year. I don't remember. So I have Sailor V, the 2 volumes of Sailor V. I have the 2 volumes of the short stories as well, and also the regular 12 volumes of Sailor Moon. This is my absolute fave manga, I think. I love Sailor Moon. You guys know how much I love this. And you know, very, very impactful, very, very powerful to me. And now let's talk about Yazawa Ai with works that I love as well. The first one is Paradise Kiss. This is a very, very rare manga here. The publisher does not exist anymore, so like I was very lucky to have this because Paradise Kiss is an incredible story. Yazawa Ai just knows how to write. She just knows how to write, and she also knows how to draw, because her drawings are very, very stylish. They're full of style, they're full of life, and they're also full of fashion, because she is very keen on fashion. And You know, I feel like Paradise Kiss is one of the best mangas I have ever read, but here comes my favorite manga ever. It's this one, Nana. If you guys haven't seen Nana, or haven't read Nana, or haven't watched Nana, because there's a movie, there are 2 movies as well, you're missing out. You are missing out. This is the best manga I have ever read, and it has so far 21 volumes, as you can see here. Oops. It has 21 volumes, and it's the best manga ever. It's the best manga ever. You should get to know Nana. If you haven't never seen Nana the anime, just watch the anime. You know, the anime is also very good. The ending is a little bit different, like the way it ends, the way it wraps up things, it's a little different, but it's amazing. And Nana, unfortunately, doesn't have an ending. The author stopped publishing it. I think she got sick and she stopped publishing it. And we never got to see like the actual ending of this story. Even though it doesn't have like an ending, it's still the best thing you will ever read. I promise you that. I promise you that. Nana is very dramatic, it's powerful, and it's beautiful. And it's a work of art. Honestly, it's a work of art. And I believe that Nana is like, this is one of the stories I really want to see like finished someday in my life. You know, and you know, Yazawa Ai, she is the queen. You know, her drawings are really incredible. So please go read Nana. Go read Nana. This is like one of the most esteemed collections I have. I have the 21 volumes that were published. She published some more chapters after volume 21, but we never got a complete volume. So I really hope that one day she will go back to doing that. I love this cover right here, both of them in the cinema. It represents so much. Their friendship, you know, their relationships, and it really hurts, you know. It really hurts seeing covers like this. This is the last cover we have. It really hurts because this manga deserves more. It like not more recognition or success, because at the time it got released in Japan, it was like one of the biggest, and it's probably one of the biggest shoujo manga ever, and it's very recent. So go read Nana, go watch Nana. I don't know, just do it. Now we're almost finished. Let's go to Ultra Maniac. This is a very nice story. It's a very lovely manga with 5 volumes. It also has an anime. The anime is a magical girl anime, but the manga not really. Like, I think that the anime captured more of the magical girl essence. The manga not so much. I also have Spicy Pink. It's a lovely story about this lady right here. She just became an adult and she's just having to deal with life. It's a very cute story. PXP, it's a one-shot only, and it tells like some stories of this. I honestly don't really remember much of those stories. I just remember it's a 1 volume. And this was done by the same author of Spicy Pink. Spicy Pink is very good, so I'm pretty sure this one was good as well, but I honestly don't remember. Another one that I have a complete collection is Honey and Clover. Honey and Clover is, I don't know if it's a shoujo or a josei manga. I think things are gonna fall. Oops. And Honey and Clover is an amazing story about growing up, about learning who you are, about knowing your identity, knowing what you want to do with your life, or not knowing what you want to do with your life. It's a beautiful, beautiful story, and you know, sometimes I think about rereading it and revisiting it, but it's painful, you know, because it's so well written, it's so well done, it's so powerful that I just cannot seem to revisit this story. This is really, really beautiful, and it really deserves, like, if you want a story about, you know, becoming an adult, growing up, if you're in that phase of your life, go read Honey and Clover. There's an anime. I have never finished watching this anime, so I can't give my opinion on it, but the manga is top notch. And now the last one I have to show is this, which is Full Moon wo Sagashite. This is a story about from Arina Tanemura. It's a magical girl story in a sense. It's one of those stories a girl becomes older to, in this case, she becomes a singer. She wants to be an artist. And this is also another story that is very, very powerful. It's the one, you know, if you read this story and you don't get emotional at some point, there must be something wrong with you, because this is powerful. And her art is really, really incredible. There's an anime from Full Moon as well, but the story, it gets changed at some points. You know, at some key points, it's different. You know, the premise is the same, but in some points of the story, it's different. And, you know, it just does not convey the same feelings as the manga for me. And now, not a manga, but I need to show this. This is an art book that I have from Kamikaze Kaito-jan. This is a magical girl manga from Arina Tanemura that I just showed, that she did Full Moon wo Sagashite, and it's a beautiful manga. This is also an anime as well. There's also an anime about Kamikaze Kaito-jan, but the anime is not good. So if you have the chance, read this manga. This manga was never published here in Brazil, but you know, the works that Arina Tanemura does, they are really, really incredible. She is a queen. She is full of talent. I absolutely love her works, and her drawings especially. You know, Kamikaze Kaito-jan is powerful, powerful, powerful. You should read it if you haven't. If you're a fan of magical girls, if you haven't seen this, if you haven't read this manga, go read it. It's really, really beautiful. And also another one that I have, another art book that I have, is this one from Peach Girl. Peach Girl is also another shoujo manga. I was a fan of Peach Girl. The manga was published here in Brazil, but it was never finished. It was cancelled midway, but I really liked it. There's an anime as well. It's very, very good. It's been a while since I read it and watched the anime, but I still like it a lot. And I honestly didn't even remember I had this. This manga is done by Miwa Ueda, and just look at her art. It's just incredible. She is so, so, so talented. Just look at this. Like, this is really, like, really something else. And, you know, Peach Girl also has that vibe of the Kogal girl, getting to know more about her and getting to know more about the prejudices of the world and getting to love some guys and explore her love life. Anyways, guys, that was it. I think this video is long, but it was a lot of fun showing my collection. As you can probably see, most of the manga I have are older mangas, and now I'm getting back to collecting mangas. As I said, I'm buying Kimetsu no Yaiba, and also I bought Given. Given is an amazing anime that I got to know last year, 2019. It's also a boys' love story, and the manga is being released this year in Brazil, so I really hope my first volume gets shipped soon, because I'm excited. And also they have announced that they're going to release Hoseki no Kuni here in Brazil, which is one of my favorite anime ever. And I'm very excited for that. Anyways, guys, that was it. Kind of messy collection, I know, but I hope you had fun. If you also like manga, please leave a comment saying your faves, the ones you want to read. If you know Nana, do you want some content on Nana here on the channel? We could talk about Nana. Let's talk about Nana. Come on, let's watch Nana and talk about it. What do you think about that? Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye.